Warning: this stream is rated for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the Legion Cage AdoptAPet.com theater. My name is Scotty, also known as EBC, and this is the second in a series of programs called Interviews with Normal Extraordinary People. And the reason why is because this person to my right, in all his beautiful, splendid hippie colors, is normal, but he's also very extraordinary, even though that particular end of it he probably doesn't like to admit in any way, shape, or fashion, no matter what, no matter who says anything. And
Pretty
yeah,
much, yeah.
pretty much. But first things first, our sponsor this month, as you've probably heard, is Legion Cage, and he requests that you go to adoptapet.com and check out and see if there's a local shelter near you that could use your aid in maybe supplies or in finding a pet that needs a forever home. And Legion Cage would greatly appreciate you doing so. So check it out, and the link is right there in the chat. If you're joining us after the fact, like you're watching this on the archive after this has been posted there or something along those lines, it is www.adoptapet.com, and you can check it out there. And yeah, our guest this evening on this fine, beautiful Monday dusk is the beautiful Mr. Angle Doom himself. And this man, I'll tell you what, he has gone to extraordinary lengths in the last 2 years to create a presence on Twitch that everybody loves and he constantly thinks is not good enough. So, but everybody does love you, and I got to be honest, man. Even if we just looked at it like from a follower count perspective, you're approaching 700 pretty rapidly, aren't you?
It's been hovering around the same area for a while now and stuff like that. But I'm just having a lot of fun, just being out there, just having a good time.
Yeah, and that's really what it's all about, is just using this platform as having fun and doing something that helps you deal with life and all the twists and turns that it throws. Um, all right, so first, let's get some basic information. Why don't you tell us your name, age, where you live, and what you do for a living?
Okay. Well, my name's Michael. Do I give my last name?
You don't have to. No.
Right. Well, my name is Michael. I'm 45. I live in Columbus, Ohio. I'm from the United States, and I wholesale textbooks for a living.
Do you have a textbook catapult in the warehouse so that, like, if there's books that nobody buys, you can just catapult them out of the building and have fun?
No.
Something to bring up to your
we
boss, huh?
right. No. Well, they interested in the Gaylords and then try to either get recycled or hopefully somebody takes most likely recycled.
Right, right. Okay. How long have you been doing that?
I'm coming close up into August. I've been doing it for about 15 years.
Okay. With the same company?
Yep.
Now, why don't you tell us a little bit about, like, the pros and the cons of the job, the things that you love and the things that you don't?
It's a pretty clean environment as far as warehouses go. It's kind of like working in a big library. I've definitely had some dirtier jobs, that's for sure, and worked in more filthier warehouses or factories therein.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty cool about it. They gave me an opportunity. I mean, it's a very small company, and I started off just as a pick and pack. You know, I answered an ad in Craigslist and said to my old former boss and stuff like that, is always would remind me that I was like the one successful Craigslist hire that they ever had. It's like, all right.
As in, they put that Craigslist ad out and nobody responded besides you, or a lot of people responded, but only you fit the bill.
Only I fit the bill, I suppose, or I
Okay,
got to stick around.
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, that's why I've been there for so long. It's a good company to work for. I can complain about it like any other person because I mean, who likes their job really?
Yeah.
Unless they have that dream career that they just love doing and stuff like that. I mean, overall and stuff like that, they've been a
And
yeah. I'm pretty
you're cutting out, Dune. Can you turn your mic sensitivity
Oh,
down a little bit more?
uh,
I think it needs to be like around a minus 65 or 70 almost.
is that any better?
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't want you
All
to
right.
cut out when you're a little quieter on the mic there.
No, okay. I'm sorry about that. No, I
No,
just
no,
need to
you're fine.
speak up and actually into this into the microphone.
Yeah, you're fine. Okay. So why don't you give us then a little bit about background on yourself, like your a little bit of your family life, maybe your little history, and like what that history means to you today.
Like where I grew up and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
just
like what was your childhood like? What's your family
um
like now?
well,
I know that's broad,
growing
but
up.
just like any details that are, stick out to you.
I come from a small town. My folks, my dad was a old factory worker. My mom was a waitress. Um, it's in my hometown's pretty humble, whatnot. Mostly farming community. Maybe about 2,000 people, 1,500, 2,000 people. Um, I remember growing up from like when I was in kindergarten, about second grade. My dad worked at pig farm, which was interesting because we lived out in the country. Then we moved back into town in like in second grade, and always lived in town. Um, Family means a lot to me because when I was younger and stuff like that, it was a kind of a loose form kind of family and whatnot. My parents got divorced when I was a teenager, uh, so that's why my family is so important. I do just about anything. Uh, I don't know. It's really hard to talk about myself because it's like the
It's
one subject I freaking don't like talking about.
well, we're gonna get a little bit more into that later, but let's just move on from that more broad and start hitting a little more specifics. So like, what's the, aside? You just mentioned your family, but aside from that, what are some things that are like constantly important to you in your life?
Oh, making sure I'm working. Working means a lot to me, just because I've always worked. I always knew, like, growing up and stuff like that, I wouldn't have anything unless I worked. Having a job, working hard, being pretty proud of what I do and stuff like that. That's pretty. Of course, my family.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Um.
I'm sorry, Doom. It's still cutting out when you're low. Can you move the mic closer to your mouth, or
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
no? That's fine. Yeah, it's
um.
just I don't want anybody to miss a single word you have to say.
And it might be why I'm getting quieter and start moving away because this is like.
Yeah,
I don't
I'll come
know.
down there and give you a massage afterwards. How's that?
Hey, don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah. All right. So
um,
you were mentioning work and about see, I find that kind of interesting that there's a lot of people out there, and I don't know if it's so much an age thing, but I definitely see it increasing in our world, and that is a person having a strong work ethic and being able to go into a job and try to do your best and try to earn a living and take care of your responsibilities. And it seems like that's less important to people in general in our age.
yeah. I mean, I saw how my parents were. I mean, not like saying anything, but we didn't have a whole lot growing up or whatnot, but we always made the best of the situation, know what we had. And even like when we were younger, like me and my brother would always try to figure out a way to, like, earn money because, like, my
Mm-hmm.
parents weren't going to just outright give it to us.
Uh,
So, always just want to try your best and do your best, and then, hopefully make a little money doing said, chores or work or whatever, and that just kind of um followed me into everything. Like, as soon as I graduated high school to get out of my hometown, I joined the army. And so
right.
I ended up getting, like, the day I graduated high school, I was on a bus to Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Yeah.
And I was there for a couple of years into that, and yeah, that just kind of strengthened that work ethic even more. Always kind of strive to do my best and be respectful, and that's how you gain respect, is by being respectful and doing the best you can.
Well, and I got to assume the army kind of like it really hammered that home in your head. The following the chain of command and doing what you're told and making sure you're taking care of everything you're supposed to be taking care of.
And another thing, it really helped me, for the first time ever. The only person I had to depend on was me. There was nobody else that I knew or anything else like that that I could go back to. I mean, of course, there's, like, the people in my platoon or my unit or what have you, even in my tank. Um, but yeah, it was all me. Yeah, there wasn't any of my friends there. I mean, of course, I could call. There was letters and pictures and stuff like that. But yeah, the only way I got through it was is because I had to.
Right. Well, it also sounds like and not only because you had to, but eventually you learned over time that in order to move forward and accomplish anything, that self-reliance was going to be a big part of that.
Yeah.
You couldn't like just turn to anybody else and count on them,
Yeah.
at least not yet.
Not that I've never had to turn to anybody or anything else like that, because I'm definitely thankful for the friends that I've had, that I've been able to turn throughout the years and stuff like
Mhm.
that when I've needed help. Not, so not to say I'm not so humble not to ask for help when I need it. Um, but being self-reliant is a big, big thing for me. The more I can be self-reliant, the better, or the happier I feel.
And I think that's a quality you and I share. I very much am also independent and I love to be self reliant. I don't like to bother other people if I
Right.
can help it because I feel that it's
Exactly.
if it's going to be an imposition, maybe something small is not that big of a deal, but why imposition people at all if you can help it?
Exactly. It's just like, no,
Right.
no, no worries. I've got this. Says I definitely appreciate it, but no way. I got this.
But would you say that has maybe negatively influenced you in any way by becoming too self reliant and not actually reaching out for help when you really should have?
Oh yeah, definitely. I can say for sure that I will definitely like close myself off completely if
Yeah,
I get into a certain mood, I suppose.
right.
You know, and I'll stay within a shell even if I'm in public or even around people and stuff like that. I'll still just kind of keep that kind of closed off on anything going on and just throw on a happy face and keep on going.
Right.
I'll figure that out later.
Well, and I'm sure that that works on a logistical level too, but I'm sure you also recognize that that can damage yourself over time, and then you do have to fix it later.
Yeah, no, it eventually starts catching up, and that's something I'm learning to being able to deal with is not letting it get overloaded to a point that yeah, I just go ahead and shut myself down
Right.
completely.
Okay. So you just mentioned that. Aside from that, what would you change about your life in the past or the present, if you could?
I wish I would have studied harder.
In just basic grade school, or
Like all the way up and through like high school, and maybe actually went to college for art. I would have changed that,
yeah,
but then I don't know.
you've
Oh, go
mentioned to
ahead.
me before, that you had wished you'd studied art. Is that like basic? Uh, how should I say? Is that the thing that is specific to what you wished you had done with continuing education, or do you think that maybe you were looking for something else that was unrelated to art? Like say a degree in business or anything else.
No, no, I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to draw. I wanted to be a
Okay.
graphic artist. I wanted to work into something where I could create something beautiful or you know.
Right.
um
Shush.
because all
It's a
through
secret.
all all through like high school and even past high school up until like my probably my 30s, I think. I always wanted to try to draw or paint or anything. I was really interested in doing all that. And I thought I was pretty decent. Like I had gotten into art school,
Hmm.
but I had gotten into some trouble and I kind of blew that opportunity.
Ah,
Um so if anything, I would have liked to have tried that. I would have liked to have had that. But then, you start thinking about the whole butterfly effect thing because
hmm.
I mean, my life as it is now is pretty damn awesome. And if that were to change, would I still have met Laura and blah blah blah.
So maybe not from a career perspective at this time in your life, but do you think maybe you would ever go to art school now and maybe do
Oh
something
no.
different?
No, I've tried taking like classes and stuff like that, and I just don't. I don't know. I just don't like somebody telling me what to do.
Oh, okay.
Like I've tried taking some classes in painting and like color mixing and stuff like that, and then just when somebody's just like, "That's not the right shade of orange," I'm like, "You don't tell me what kind of orange it is." I've had a 10-hour day and I've come in here to
Well,
fucking mix colors.
yeah, but I mean that's got to be yeah. Obviously, there's logistics and structure to the underlying foundations of what constitutes art, but that's just kind of like general know-how, and the bulk of art is creating something that doesn't necessarily follow the rules.
Right. And I've always been a big fan of that. Like I've always liked that sort of thinking because I mean anything's an art, right? Like anything literally is an art. I mean not aside just from things like music and dance and stuff like that, but even like sports is an art form. People
Yeah.
way that play it is an art form, there's so many things that is considered art form. Even like streaming kind of scratches that creative itch,
Hmm.
and that's where I'm at right now. It's just like I know that I'm never going to ever really accomplish so much with my painting or drawing anymore. But I sure do have a lot of fun doing this, and I definitely feel like it's a great creative outlook or output. And it's even got me thinking about painting again, or even trying to stream painting again. Just throwing on some music and just sitting back, having a couple drinks, and painting in the
Well,
evening. Just for a couple of hours.
well, I for one would absolutely be ecstatic over a Doom Bob Ross style stream. So by all means, sir, go ahead and put that into rotation. I'm sure everybody would love that.
Well, I did. Oh,
No, go ahead.
I say I'd done it once with I had done a custom Magic the Gathering card.
Yeah,
I
I saw
think
that.
hmm and that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing that.
But I know I'm talking the whole 9 yards, man. We gotta have like your yeah, we gotta have almost like a Optimus Crime style. Your back to the camera. You might as well put on like a
hmm
curly hair wig, and you got your canvas there, and paint some happy trees for us, or maybe they're just like happy little demons, or horror figures. Happy Jasons, maybe.
I actually have a very cute drawing of Jason. If on my Facebook, and so I'm pretty sure it's still there and stuff like that. It was my like profile picture for the longest time, but it was like kid Jason who carved like a pumpkin
Hmm.
and just had the stuffing of the pumpkin as the pumpkin's got like a shocked face on its look. I always love that drawing, but
Yeah,
I've always been a fan.
but yeah, you could definitely incorporate some more of that into streams. The one that you did with the alteration of the magic card was fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'd look forward to more of that. One more question on that segment of it. So your continuing education, is there anything, and not just art or anything, that you would like to do, not necessarily in a more formal setting, but a little bit more of a structured continuing education to uh, do advancement of your own personal knowledge as you continue through your life?
Well, I thought about taking some classes and certification in Excel.
Mm-hmm.
uh, I have a lot of fun doing that. Currently, right now, Mrs. Doom is taking SQL certification, which is really exciting, and she's getting her resume together now that Little Man's going to be going to actual school this year.
Right.
Uh, so she's really kind of got me excited. Um, and yeah, after she's done with that certification, now I'm going to get my see about getting my Excel certification. And
Okay.
that'll kind of open up, maybe getting me out of a warehouse, which would be nice.
Yeah. Maybe do related office work to the warehouse.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I learned I was kind of like self taught on Excel years and
Mm-hmm.
years ago. I did a little bit with the formulas. I mean, there's so much that you can do with Excel, but
Oh yeah.
like at least me personally, I think probably the biggest accomplishment I had with Excel was I did design and set up a program to emulate the computer system in the TV show Deal or No Deal. So like,
Oh.
and this was back in my DJ days, and I was thinking maybe I could do like a Deal or No Deal show at a bar some night, and have the cases and all that stuff. And then the computer program was just basically, okay, my contestant chooses this case, we take that out in the program, and now here's the offer. And then they accept or decline the offer. So I did do that a while back, and that's probably as far as I've gone. But I've used Excel probably a lot in the same vein as Tuba, which is just doing spreadsheets for information and things like that. Like I've set up a couple of information spreadsheets to follow timelines on like Stranger Things and Walking Dead and a couple other TV shows,
That's
stuff like
awesome.
that. But that was all self-taught. I never got a certification, so that probably is going to open
Mm.
up even more doors for you.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I mean, especially with as many years of experience that I've had doing my job and with that certification, I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah. And you could also probably do you could probably do the rest of like Microsoft Office with that too, because I mean, word processors are pretty straightforward. Which you also have PowerPoint, you also have the
Hmm.
database access.
Hmm.
And are your kitties eating your ankles?
Yeah, the little one, the little orange tabby one, just woke up and he demands attention. He just looks up at me, and I look down at him. He's like, "Meow." I'm like, "Dude, like, shh, go away."
We
No, don't climb on my computer.
I couldn't hear. So
Hold on. He's gonna climb on my computer. Give me 1 second. I'm
okay.
sorry.
All right, so this short segment is brought to you by Doom's aggressive cat that is trying to eat his entire PC at this moment. Oh boy! Come here, you little orange heathen!
Good.
Uh,
I'll tell you.
trying to eat all your PC. Yeah, little floof. Very
Little flute.
little floof. What did you name that one?
This one's name is Cheese.
Cheese, and the other one was
Cheese.
named
Boo.
Boo. Okay. All
Are
right,
you
so
happy now?
let's ask about that. You've got the two cats, Cheese there
Three.
in your hand, and Boo, the black one. Those are the two new ones. The third one is the one that you've had for quite some time. And what's the name of that one?
His name is Hal.
Hal. After
Halloween.
oh, Halloween. Okay, I thought you were talking about like Hal 9000.
Nope, nope. But shortened down for Hal.
Okay. Um, is those three cats the only animals that you've owned, or did you have a couple others previously?
We did. I When me and Laura first were dating, she had gotten me a cat, and we had him for 16 years.
Oh
We
wow.
unfortunately, yeah, when Dante was born, unfortunately, we had no, no. Come on, dude, stay down. No, no.
Got to get your
Jeez,
spray bottle.
I know, right? If it wasn't just right over my computer, it's like I have a box and things like blocking it, but he doesn't. Come on, dude. I'm so sorry.
No, you're all right. You're
Go get your sister.
all right.
Go get Boo. Go get her. Don't start, Boo.
The cats are stealing the show, man.
I no. My last Fallout stream, Boo come up through here and jumped on my lap and demanded attention. And then finally, when I got her calmed down and sent away, that's when Cheese decided he wanted to start climbing on my computer, and he kept on taking out my controller.
Oh,
So,
jeez.
like, buddy, come on.
That's all right. That's all right. Uh, but yeah, they just want some attention, Dad, and you're not paying nearly enough attention.
But it's adorable because their mom was found on the side of the road. That the person who had stopped thought the cat was dead and was trying to push the cat off the road from getting hit even further. Come to find out, this was in the middle of this winter. That the cat was just half frozen and pregnant.
Oh,
So they took it
jeez.
home, got it to the vet, got her warmed up, and then she had the kittens, but she had 8 of them, but lost 4.
Oh, yeah.
And these two are what they considered like bonded siblings. So just to keeping them together would be so much easier than having to separate them because it
Right.
would be kind of like really sad to be separated from the two. So it was kind of like a package deal. And
Well,
it
we
was like I went through the same thing with Hal when he was a kitten. It's just like now it's just double.
yeah, double trouble, man. We were just talking about this yesterday about how it seems to be this unrelenting trend in America that some people are just so vicious and unforgiving to animals, just dropping them on the side of the road. That cat was probably there because some owner didn't want them and just dropped them on the side of the road.
Yeah, no, it's just totally how it is. And the person that was giving them away was like, well, we would really not like to separate. So we had to make the decision. It's like, okay, we wanted another cat. We didn't want two other cats.
Mm-hmm.
But when they sent the first picture over, and it's just this adorable picture of them in a basket, and I think I posted on Instagram and just about everywhere because it's freaking adorable. And it's like, you look at those
Right.
faces, it's like, how can you say no? So we'll make it work.
Yeah.
We'll make it work. So they're already scheduled up for getting neutered and spayed, and we've already talked to our vet, and they're going to be very awesome about it, and we're going to make it work. Instead of one potty box, there's two, and yeah, poor Laura has to change those things out 3 times a day.
Oh, geez. Well, bless you, because hey, yeah, I know for a fact I can't do that because I'm not going to take care of an animal. I, uh, in other words, I don't want to be that person that would never drop a cat off on the side of the road. I know that I
Hmm.
wouldn't, but it's like I don't even want to put myself in that position where I'm starting to get frustrated. And I'm good.
And
I'm good just dealing with like my brother's roommate's dog, and
well, because you can leave, you could go home. You don't have to worry about
yeah,
it later. You don't have to worry about it jumping up on
right,
your things because your things are somewhere else.
yeah. But not only that, I mean, just the care of an animal. Sometimes I'm out working 60, 80 hours a week, and I don't have time for that, you know?
Yeah, no, and that's exactly it. I don't think I could ever have a dog. A dog requires so much more attention. With
Right.
kittens, we're kind of lucky because by the time that the fall comes around, they're going to be much bigger. But there's still going to be always somebody home at some time, even with them going. If I'm going through the day, especially Dante's gone, Laura's going to be here during the day, then Dante are going to be home during the afternoons and the evenings.
Right.
And, it's not so bad, but we're lucky with cats being a little bit more independent. It's a little bit easier. We have like an auto feeder downstairs, and
Yeah. Oh, that's cool though. All right, let's shift gears a little bit now.
Mhm.
Uh, we talked a little bit about like continuing education and things like that. What other broad goals do you have for the future? I mean, we all die at some point, and typically that's before you reach age 100. So, you and I mean, you're just a little bit older than I am. We're reaching that point of midlife here, and
Mhm.
in the second half of our lives, we definitely might want to accomplish some new things or finish old things that were never properly finished. So, what kind of things are broad goals that you generally have that you definitely want to accomplish in the next 20, 30, 40 years?
Updating the house and a couple of things, doing some home improvement stuff. That would be kind of nice.
Do you think you want to
Um,
stay where you are, or you might want to move at some point?
oh no, no, I love my house. I love my house and I like my neighborhood. Yeah, I told him this is I'm not leaving here. This is I'm not leaving here until I die.
Okay.
No, it's a perfect little house. We fought for it, and yeah, I love it here. And it's pretty much same sentiment, unless all of a sudden I win the lottery somehow, or something happens to where I can get a house out in the country and get that mini farm that Laura's been wanting for forever and stuff like that. Yeah, it'd have to be some grand circumstance to get us out of here.
Yeah. You play the lottery?
No,
Then you ain't gonna win the lottery.
right.
um. Okay. Anything else in the gold department? So you're talking about just like renovating the home, trying to continue a probably a more continual update of it over time, just improving it
Hmm.
as you go along.
Yeah.
Um, what else? Anything else? Streaming career maybe, or retirement?
Oh God, I don't think there's ever going to be any retirement for me. I'm probably going to end up working until I die. I'll probably be like right in the middle, right before I end up going into my shift, calling in. I'm like, It's just not.
Yeah, you call your boss and they say you better be dead, and you're like, dude, I'm dead.
Yeah, I'm getting there. We'll see you soon.
um,
um, I enjoy streaming. I love doing it. Do I ever see a career doing it? I mean, I think that's always a dream of any streamer. I think, right? I mean, I don't know. But for anything, I'm just having a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm meeting a lot of great people and making a lot of great friendships. And um, yeah, no, I'm just happy to be here. This is my happy place. And I love being here.
that's good. And we're gonna discuss a little bit more in depth everything related to Twitch and gaming closer to the end of the stream here. Um, if you could deliver, and I'm pretty sure what it is, so we may actually do this twice. If you could deliver a grand message to the world, everybody in the world is going to hear your message. What would it be?
Oh, just be kind out there. Just be kind to everyone. I mean, it passes it along. It really does. Just is one act of kindness can snowball into a whole bunch of acts of kindness. Spread a whole wave of just positivity, even for just one day. It would make a difference. So yeah, just be kind to each other.
And I agree with you. And we both have been trying to spread that message in various ways. So that's what I was referring to. I pretty much knew that was going to be your answer. So let's also look for a secondary answer there. Is there any other message besides just being kind that you think the world should hear?
uh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
That's all right. That's all right. That's a perfectly acceptable answer. Doom
um,
saying quit being a dick.
my own happy birthday, Ben. I don't
That's a
know.
good one, Malushi.
I just I don't know. I mean I don't think I have something for the world to have to listen to.
Well, and that's acceptable too. Um, I think there's various things that are important to every individual, and none of those things are the same between individuals. So if that's all that you feel the world needs to hear is just to be kind, then that's all there is. All right. What aside from winning the lottery, what is the best thing that could possibly happen to you in your future?
uh
Something you dream of, or something that is maybe beyond your reach, but if it happened, it would just be the most fantastic thing ever.
to have me and my wife be there when my son gets married. I mean, even
Hmm?
married, or just make sure that he has a happy life. Know that he's gonna be okay. I
That's
don't know.
good. That's good.
Shit. Hold on.
Okay.
God damn it. Yeah, the thing.
This is the second break brought to you by Doom's new cats that are absolutely destroying the shit out of his studio. And what'd they break this time?
Well, it's the thing. It's like, but they'd like to climb up on my computer, and all my wires are back there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the thing is he's gonna lose it. He's gonna miss the jump, and he's gonna end up in those wires. That's exactly what happened. And I'm surprised he didn't pull anything out of the back of that computer.
Well, if that happens and all of a sudden we lose you in video feed, we'll know why.
Exactly. I got a
Mali-
cheese in the system.
oh, yeah. Malegio says he dreams of riding a unicorn while bull whipping children for some reason. Why children? Jesus. That's a little dark there, Malegio.
That sounds like me.
Oh boy. We're definitely gonna need some art regarding
We have to
that?
ask him.
Like you have to draw that for us, Doom, just so we can have a visual. You know.
Oh yeah, I can try.
Okay, we're going to take a short commercial break and then come back with a little bit more of this beautifully bearded, Atari headed man to my right that is known as the fabulous Angle Doom. Stay tuned, we will be right back. All right, welcome back. And yeah, what ad did you get? Did Darkly got Affleck? Affleck. Uh, I'm wondering how many people now are starting to get car ads for electric vehicles now that they're really trying to make a push for that. Um, yeah, progressive. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, welcome back. This is the beautiful Angle Doom to my right, who has joined us this evening to basically be grilled in front of everybody, and he's turning out very nice, browning very well. We're gonna flip him over and get the other side. He'll
Oh
be
my.
yeah. Oh my, phrasing. He'll be ready to serve shortly here. All right.
Oh.
So let me ask you this. What are some things that you absolutely love about yourself and some things that you absolutely hate about yourself?
Oh, that's all right.
I can tell you like this question.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Um and I can go on and on about the one but not the other.
Mm. All right, well
um
let's start with the bad one. What are a few things that you really hate about yourself?
uh I hate that I'm so anxious all the time. I hate that I don't feel good enough all the time. Uh
Okay, so anxiety, self-worth, or self-image.
yeah. Um I don't know.
That's all right. That's all right. Does
um
anything else in that department come to mind that you're willing to share?
I mean, I hate my face. I hate my voice. I hate the way my body is. I mean, you could go through the whole thing and stuff like that, about just what I kind of hate about myself.
Well, a lot of
I
that.
hate the fact that I hate that way. That I hate, I hate
Uh,
that I think that way.
now we're into hate inception here. Um,
Oh, right.
but I think most of that falls under self-image.
Yeah.
So it's probably easy to identify that you have a poor self-image or not nearly as much as it should be or you want it to be. Are there any kind of steps that you've taken that you're willing to share to try to improve your self-image?
Uh, well, I started exercising, but when I got COVID, I kind of cut that out. So I need to start getting back into that.
Okay.
Although I did dropped a couple of pounds because of COVID, so that was on nice. It was a good thing out of COVID.
Yeah.
um, I don't know. There's not really much I can do about my face. It's what I was born with.
Well, and
um,
speaking as an objective third party here, your face is perfectly fine. Have you seen my face? I mean,
I
seriously.
think you're awesome.
Well, and I think the same of you. Okay, so our two opinions of each other cancel out, and we're perfectly fine. You know.
See, there it is.
All right.
It's not so much even out of vanity and stuff like that. I guess the most self worth is out of anything. That's why I try to work really hard and try to do
Yeah.
the best I can and stuff like that, so I can feel proud of myself. Um, have my family feel proud of me. So I
Yeah.
kind of like that. I strive for that.
And that's perfectly good and a respectable goal to set for yourself, just to
Man.
do your best in every situation, especially for your family. Um, Now on the anxiety end, I personally never used to suffer from anxiety until 2019 and into
Yeah.
2020, late 2019. And part of it was because of COVID.
Mm.
Part of it was because of this increasing distress that I had over how people behave in public and in
Yeah.
private, and just in general, especially in the United States, how people respond to each other, how people behave, how they judge. Like, I mean, we're in 2022 now, the age of you are a horrible person if you judge somebody negatively based on superficial things like appearance or sexuality or religion or any of these things.
Right.
And yet we still can't seem to get away from all that.
Right.
So that in itself is one of the things that causes anxiety in me, and there are certain ways that I've learned to overcome that and other ways that I haven't at all. There are
Yeah.
still days that I have that, thankfully, one of the better parts of Uber as my career is that I cannot work if I don't want to.
Right.
And there are still days to this day that I will be out working, and all of a sudden I know I'm crashing mentally, and I'm just like, okay, I can't work anymore today, and I just go home.
Right.
And sometimes it's caused by people on the road who are just constantly doing stupid shit, or passengers, or something I heard on the radio, or something that's
Oh
been in
God,
the
yeah.
back of my mind for 20 years, and all of a sudden today it's a nagging thing, you know?
And when you get that time to get inside your head, and all of a sudden that
Yeah.
one thing just wants to kind of poke out and be like, damn it. I knew I had to deal with that shit eventually.
So that's what it's like for me. Are there any other aspects to your anxiety that really stand out to you?
um no, I mean, I've always been a kind of an anxious person ever since I was a kid. I've always because I always had to walk around in eggshells around my dad,
Okay.
especially, so that always kind of gave you kind of an anxiety as a kid. I always felt good in my room, because if I was in my room, I was keeping to myself, I wasn't pissing off my dad. There's no way I could get in trouble.
Okay.
So, like, just going out in general after a while, just being out in public or whatnot, or just, I have a hard time dealing with like being in public situations and stuff like that, going out in a whole massive crowds. It was easier when I was younger because I was drunk most of the time, just,
Right.
in a state of mind at the time, so crowds and stuff like that was easy because I didn't care. I felt 10 foot tall and bulletproof anyway. So no matter what happened to me at that point, I didn't care. Um, but now that I'm more sober and stuff like that in any kind of like situation, going out in like crowds, whatnot, like going to a fair or like an arts fest or whatever and stuff like that. Just the anxiety of just so many people being around or whatnot, especially in the way things that are today, it's just like you're really not safe to go anywhere. Not like I'm like afraid to go anywhere or anything else like that. Because I will go places, I just don't like to.
Well,
um,
especially if it's not necessary. I mean, there's one
right.
thing to be said about going out and like seeing the world, enjoying nature or whatever. Even seeing, like, I absolutely love going to see architecture and
Hmm.
different building designs and things like that. I'd love to make more time personally to go and uh, photograph those,
Right.
various buildings that appeal to me, or other man-made structures, things that stand out. Um, I'm not going to do that though. Like, it's just not
Yeah.
something that's that important to me anymore to actually go out in public and do those things, because one, I don't necessarily want to interact with anybody else, but two, it's like I can just, look at that stuff on my computer.
Well, I love being outside. I love camping and stuff like that, but even when like the campsites are like kind of full up, and there's a lot of people camping there, and okay, there's a whole bunch of people here. Oh, okay. That's when the anxiety starts ramping up.
Yeah.
I would love to go like have a private spot, like on a lake somewhere. It would be so cool.
Okay, so we could
But I do
probably
enjoy the outdoors.
okay, so we could probably say that generally your anxiety revolves around other people.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's
Um,
because I'm afraid of making a mistake or just looking foolish or, you know,
okay.
I don't know.
So you kind of uh, you fear like judgment of other people. They're gonna confirm your worst fears that you're the worst.
But it's just one of those things too. It's just when you go out, like we and I even go get my groceries just to go pick up my groceries, and you just see so many people just doing the wrong thing. And I'm not even saying like the wrong thing. Like I sat there one time.
Yeah,
Um,
give us an example of the when you're watching somebody in the store and you see them do the wrong thing, something specific.
I was sitting there waiting for like 'cause I had a grocery pickup because I just like that. I hate going into the grocery store, so grocery pickup has been the greatest thing ever.
Yes, yes, I agree.
So I watched two old ladies park right in front of the handicap spot, and the one lady was clearly there before the other one, but the other lady, she reared in and she was just getting ready for this person to fall out. Now this took all upward about 10 minutes. And then finally, as soon as the person pulled out, the person who was there first did in fact get the spot. And then the other lady went ahead and proceeded to back into the grocery pickup spot, which is not a parking spot.
Right,
It's just for people who pick up their groceries.
right.
I had the windows down. The lady comes out, looks at me because I'm just looking deadpan right at her, just looking at her, like ready to shake my head. 'Cause she knows I'm just like, and she's like, "Some people, can you believe the nerve?" And like, yeah, I can. And it's just like, well, God bless you. I'm like, sure. It's like, ma'am, you're complaining about the lady who was already there waiting for the spot that you contested for it, parked in a place that you weren't even supposed to park in, that's not a parking spot, and then complain about the lady who was already there.
Yeah.
To me, who is knowing full well that is not a parking spot, you're not supposed to be there. You go ahead.
See, that is my biggest issue, and I mean that's like a feeder for my anxiety. But I see so many people that just do not care that they aren't doing things properly or aren't following the rules. I mean, let's take that because I drive all the time. Let's take the speed limit
Mm,
for example. Okay,
right,
if you don't do the speed limit, it doesn't mean that people are gonna die. Okay,
right.
it's a 60. You're doing 65. Nobody's gonna die. More than likely, the probability is not there. You do 80, that probability goes up a lot further. You do 100 and the probability is sky high, right? But regularly in a 60 mile per hour, I see people doing 80 miles per hour, all in the left lane, all impatient as all fuck.
Mm,
And it's like, what are you really telling me, as the person who's over here trying to do the speed limit, that your impatience is more important than the safety of everybody else on the road?
right. We're all just trying to get home or to our
Right.
jobs safely. Because, I would like to either go back home safely. That's all I want to do is just make it there. It's like, whatever you have that's so darn important, is it worth everybody else's life out here? No, I agree with that
and
sentiment.
and and in the long run, in the broad scheme of things, it's probably not that big of a deal. But I'm just going, okay, so what else in your life, how many little things that you're just not doing what you're supposed to be doing are adding up to this multitude of all these people in our society that just don't give a rat's ass, you
Yeah.
know?
And it's not like, it's not is it a rebellious thing? It's just because it's my freedom not to have to listen to this. It's just like, so you just got the freedom to be a dick. That's why
I
I say just being kind out there. If you see
yeah.
somebody trying to get into your lane, maybe slow down a little bit. We're not in that big a rush. If you know, if somebody's got a handful of shit, maybe hold the door open for them. It doesn't have to be a whole thing. It's just helping them out or what.
Well, and on the other
I
end
don't
of
know.
that, use your fucking turn signal if you want to get over in my
Yeah,
lane. You know?
no, exactly. There's a whole etiquette to it. I mean, I just keep on referring. There's an old Disney cartoon with Goofy on how to drive.
Yeah.
Like this is when the freeways were starting to be first built in like
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
California and whatnot. Yeah, and I just always go to that cartoon. There was a whole series with Jiminy Cricket as well. It's because was I'm No Fool, and it was just like these simple things, just to do the right thing, and the right things will happen. If you do the wrong things, accidents happen. That's how accidents happen, and it's just foolish not to do the right thing. I don't know.
So yeah, well, I mean, that's beautiful. That's exactly why I said, okay, give us a specific example of what you mean when you say somebody doing the wrong thing. Okay, well, that's a quantifiable thing now that we can use. That's what I was saying earlier. Is that's what ramps up my anxiety when I start seeing multiple people all doing that, causing an accident, not necessarily an auto accident, but I mean that's how that occurs, or or
Right,
or like negligence in proper maintenance of your vehicle.
right.
You do not. You have like I remember people telling me, "Oh yeah, I haven't gotten an oil change ever on my car." Well, how long have you owned it? 6 years.
Oh my god.
Really? You know,
Yes.
that sort of thing. It's just
I've had my car for almost 10 years, and I've had make sure to take care of most of the maintenance as I possibly can. I mean, there's been little things here and there that's been lax, but for the most
yeah.
part, has everything been kept up on, and it's a dang fine car
Well,
still.
and because none of us are perfect, we all make mistakes, but it's the
Right.
ability to recognize that you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing, or at least attempting to do what's right, that makes you a
Right.
good person. And I'm wondering just how many people in our world that really says something about they're just not good people, you know?
It's like maybe they're having a bad day or something else like that.
Yeah.
But that's even more of a reason to try to be I don't know, and try to put out the best, because then make you feel better after having a bad day. I don't know. I mean, I like I said, I'm not perfect either. There
Yeah.
are times where I could probably be like a very shitty person too, you know. Um and more of a self affirmation to tell myself to make sure to be kind out there, because it does mean a lot to people,
Right.
you know.
And I think what we're running into is uh, just so many people that are not getting kindness from others,
Yeah.
that in trying to be kind you are choosing to be a better person. So honestly, Doom, I self-worth wise I'd say that trumps everything else. You are a good person because you try to be a better person.
I mean, it's all I ever want to do is just keep on improving. I think by the time that we stop trying to improve anything and stuff like that, I don't
help
know, it becomes stagnant, I guess.
Help me out, chat. Is that not the definition of a good person? That you just continue trying to improve yourself, constantly striving for being a better person? That to me is the epitome of what makes a person a good person. Um, yeah. So I know we've broached this before, but I'm going to assert, Doom, that when you say you are the worst, you are in fact completely incorrect, and you are one of the best people that we know. That's also why you have a massive following. That's also why people are magnetically drawn to your stream because of your personality. So you may worry about it, but you are wholly and completely wrong in that fact, I think.
I I have so much fun doing it, and it's because of the folks out there who are just so freaking awesome to come and hang out. Like I'm sorry to curse, but but
Quit fucking cursing, damn it.
but it does. This has been such an awesome experience, and it just freaking love everything about it so far. So I'm just lucky to be here, and I'm lucky. I'm lucky.
And likewise, we are lucky to have you in our lives. So thank you. All right. Let's move on from that before you turn the brightest shade of beet red. Um, let's talk about heroes and demons. So, who is a public person in your history? Somebody that we would all probably know about. That is someone you have looked up to in your past or in your present. Somebody that you would maybe want to emulate, or just in general, you think they are a fantastic, good person, uh, like a celebrity or a politician or mathematician or historian, anybody of note, somebody that we would know.
I've always been a huge fan of Bob Ross, and to hear like some of the stuff that he had gone through to make the show that he had put out, and the vibe that he had put out, and the message that he put out, I'm a huge fan of Bob Ross. And even him himself, back in the times when I was a kid, and just being able to help me because of the fact that he was just freaking mellow. He was a great vibe just to be able to sit and watch, and just it was amazing. The art that he would put out so quickly was just so beautiful and so amazing. Um, and if you haven't had a chance to see the documentary about him and stuff like that, I highly encourage it because it's amazing. It's really good. I can't remember the name of it and stuff like that, but it really just showed a lot that had gone through to put his show out there and to get his message. And the fact that even he was an old soldier and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, just an amazing person. So yeah, I highly look up to him. I think he's just an amazing person.
Okay. So that's a public person. Now let's, if you would please mention a private person, somebody that we would not know, and you do not have to name that person if you do not want to, but somebody in your private life that you really look up to, and why.
Um, this person has been a friend of mine since probably high school. Um, I don't know, I'll name him because I'm not afraid to say it anyway. It's the Mad Tinker.
Mm-hmm.
Mad Tinker has been a great friend of mine for years, and I really look up to him. I look up to if you're gonna learn anything about kindness, Mad Tinker uh is a great resource for that. He's probably one of the kindest people that I know. Um, Smart, wise, um, just an extraordinary person. I I very much look up to him, and I'll say that to his face. Um, yeah, I really look up to the guy. I've always considered him like a brother, because he was always there for me when we were younger, and to this day is still for me there. He is that one person I know if I did need something that and I know there are other people out there too, but he's more than likely the person I would probably reach out to.
Right.
Just because he knows me. He truly knows me. Like he's known all the shit that I've been and I've gone through. Maybe not all the stuff with like my earlier years and stuff like that, but definitely the fallout of most of that.
Right.
But he's always been there. So yeah, I definitely look up to Tinker. He's an amazing fuck.
Okay. And I know for a fact that you don't like to shit on anybody. Um, but what I would like to ask you to do here is perhaps identify an individual besides Hitler that is somebody you believe has had a vast negative influence on this world. And you think that's somebody that at the very least they should not have been able to influence the world, past or present.
uh I I hate to say that I hate anyone and stuff like that, but when I hear this person's name, it's like, ooh, I fucking hate that guy. I fucking hate Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is like
Really?
just the shittiest goddamn person ever.
And that's all right.
I,
I
I don't know.
expect.
It's just like I don't ever hear anything good that ever came out of his mouth in any kind of like news snippet or anything and stuff like that. Or nor have I ever heard anything good this individual has ever done. So
Right.
I feel that way about some other folks and stuff like that, But that's the one person that just comes to mind, especially. It's just like, yeah.
I suspect, no matter whether or not the person that I'm interviewing leans left or right, that question is going to be answered with a lot of people that are politicians. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
no, and that's the kind of sentiment I've always had with that. It's hard for me to trust any of that. But it's just this one individual, especially, just never hear anything good. At least with most folks and stuff. Or I can't say with most folks. There's a lot of things you don't really hear a lot of good things about, but this guy.
yeah, and that's
uh,
perfectly fine. All right.
um,
Um, so what? Let's talk a little bit more about like your personal life within the sphere of the world at large. So, what were you like as a like if you were looking at an individual that represented you as a child and as a teenager, how would you describe that person?
imaginative. I had a lot of imagination back then. I spent like a lot of time by myself and stuff like that, So I would just get lost in like music in my own head. I
Hmm.
think that's probably why I leaned a lot towards wanting to becoming like a drawing, painting, and stuff like that. Kind of getting some of those images out of my head into somewhere else.
Yeah.
Um, lots of dreams of doing that between then and there. It's supposed to the only thing I ever thought about.
Did any of those dreams come true?
No, no,
Do you think any of them will?
and no.
Well, you never know.
It's that no, and I hate to say that and stuff like that, but it's just no, it was a hard reality to give up on that dream.
Yeah.
Uh I think I had dreamt being something like that. Would definitely hit hard part of like the depression and stuff like that. That was really a big part of my life for the longest time. It was like how I kind of identified myself was because of that ability.
Hmm.
And I don't know, probably around I don't know, maybe about 2007 to 2009, just realized it was never going to be something that was going to be
Yeah.
anything.
Um, does that the depression that came from that still affect you, or have you mostly
um,
been able to manage that?
I think I've been with the managing with like the anxiety and stuff like that. It's been helping with the depression. Uh, Streaming, like I said, has been such a like really scratches that creative itch. That's why I say this is my happy place. I love being here and doing this because of that. It helps a lot with my depression. It just makes me feel good to be out there and doing it. Even if nobody was even watching and stuff like that, I would still just be having a great time being out there and anybody who would pop in, I'd just hey.
Yeah. Well, and you do that as well. Anybody that does pop into your chat, you're like, hey, hi, how you doing? Glad you're here. I really appreciate you. You, like several other people in our community, really put forth that effort to make people feel welcome on your stream. Uh,
Oh, always yeah.
and I think that's why people, part of the reason why people come back as well. But I remember you mentioning to me that you almost always have an issue with pushing the start stream button.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a little bit lessened by pre gaming, but what What do you believe is your hang up with there, and what helps you overcome that?
I listen to a lot of music before I start. With the pre-gaming, I kind of go back to that where I was as a kid. Close my eyes, listen to the music, feel what I feel inside me, and get out there and kick some ass. It's always kind of how I felt when I was drawing or anything else like that.
Okay.
Or just try to do the very best that I fucking can. If anything, try to make somebody's day or just have a good time. If somebody can leave just happy, being happier or from when they came before they went, that's even freaking better.
Yeah, Legion Cage is
13.
mentioning a specific event in your history that I was fantastically capturing and clipping. Um, One of the that's this is something that you share with Watch Whitney. She has a very difficult time pressing the start stream button.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I suggested to her as potentially a way to overcome that is to write a post it note with short little descriptives of reasons why she likes streaming. So, like some of the things that you mentioned there, maybe you can make somebody's day, things like that. And I said, put that post it right on top of your monitor or someplace that you're going to be able to see that and look at it just before you actually start streaming, and maybe that can help you overcome that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you would agree that probably once you actually start streaming, all that melts away.
It does, like instantly.
Right.
Once I start getting into it, I think probably the first time I start seeing somebody in chat or anything else like that, this is as soon as I start going, then it's just fine. We're sitting
Mm-hmm.
down, we're playing a game. Let's just have a good time with that. And whatever the stream takes us, we'll go from there.
What are some things that make you different and unique from other people?
uh, uh, See, that's the thing. That's probably one of the reasons why I stopped doing art and stuff. There's being in Columbus is it's very art centered. There's a very good art school here, so there's a lot of fantastic artists here.
Mm-hmm.
um, I I always said that I'm a dime a dozen. Whatever I can do, there's about 20 other people who could probably do it a hell of a lot better than I can. Um, I
Yes,
kind
but
of still,
that's a way to
I,
that's a way to diminish yourself. See,
right.
so let's see if we can explore a little bit and find ways that you are unique, so we can elevate you.
Um, my laugh. People really
Yes,
seem to love my laugh.
indeed. Yes, you
That's one of the
have.
things I get the most comments about. It's just like, I love your laugh. You've got an infectious laugh.
Yes, that was exactly the term I was thinking of. Infectious. It is very how shall we say, um, affects a lot of people. I think in a positive way.
I love laughing. Laughing is the best thing ever. And the fact that that's what people know me for is just like, well, you just laugh at everything. Half of that has to do with the pre-gaming and whatnot, but I've always loved to laugh. I anything that's funny. I know I love different kinds of senses of humor. I've always been a big fan of stand-up, especially through like the 80s when it became like really big. They had like a lot of the comic relief that was on like HBO back in the day. Um, so I always just loved to laugh. Uh, because it was always better than to laugh than to do anything else. Even when it was bad, like if you were able to laugh at something, at least there was something coming good out of
Well, and
it,
Bob Ross always pretty much had a smile on his face, even if it was a small smile. He was very he had a pleasant attitude for everything that he presented on screen. Same with Mister Rogers.
Yeah,
You know,
a smile could go a long way with anybody.
Malegio got rickets from Doom's laugh. You might want to see a doctor about that. Um, Okay, so that's the first thing. Is Doom's laugh is very unique and awesome. I also would add to that the bottle of sunshine.
Oh,
That is so unique and awesome that we now have people beginning to emulate it in our community. So
that,
somebody has basically said, Doom is doing this bottle of sunshine over there, and this is such an awesome and great thing. We're going to mimic it. Where imitation is the greatest form of flattery. People love that to the point that they're actually now doing that on their channels to their followers and viewers.
I was very fortunate to meet a really cool Minecraft community and a lot of great people out of that. And I was visiting one of them during their stream, and they're literally just doing the same thing. And I sat there and watched for about 15 minutes of this as his community were just going nuts. Like he had no limit on this thing. Everybody was just turning this thing in, and I about cried. I was like, "Look at this wonderful human being right here." And he's like, "Oh my God, you're here. This is the guy. This is where I got it from." And just not even held back on that. And I just thought that was the coolest freaking thing ever. I'd never thought that anybody would pass that on. And that was probably the best feeling out of anything out of streaming that I had. It was so awesome. I mean, I've had some great moments. I definitely have had some really just awesome moments. I could count them all, but that one's definitely going to stick with me for a while.
Right.
And I hope that keeps on going down, that people see that and then just keep on going, because if you can just compliment one person that day to make their freaking day, then hell yeah.
Right. All right. Well, I hope you didn't put your beet red face too far away under the desk or something because you're about to put it back on. We're going to turn this around, and I'm going to give you a bottle of sunshine, as is the rest of our chat. So, chat, what I would like you to do is to put in the chat there your favorite thing about Doom. And that could be anything with his streams or his personality, conversations that you've had with him. What is your favorite thing about Doom? And put that in the chat for me while I give him his bottle of sunshine. Doom, my brother got me into Twitch here. It was, I would say, February of last year. So we're going on a year and 3 or 4 months.
Mhm.
And shut up, Joel. Um, so, and one of the first people that I followed was this weirdo named Angle Doom, who was streaming an arcade game named Black Tiger, and I'm sure there was some other things that I forgot what he was doing at the time. And as I was growing on Twitch and just connecting with different people, the CR Game Room and the Gaming Avengers, Steph and Eddie, just all sorts of different people, Isnib, and since then Isnib creating the Conflux, and so many different people, including Malegio and Legion Cage and Veronica and Sleight of Game, all of these people joining in to be part of that, Mr. Wrong. Um, in all that time, a year and 3, 4, or 5 months, you're still my favorite streamer. You're still the person that I one of the few streamers that I have notifications on so that it notifies me anytime you go live. Now, unfortunately, half the time I'm falling asleep during your streams because of the timing and all that. But I also will try to make it a point to go back and watch any VODs that I missed. And the reason is because you are such an awesome individual, such a fantastic personality on and off air, that you have created your own persona. You are your own brand, represented by your own drawing, that's Sunshine, which is also fantastic. Um, and it's a late comer to the game, but the angry shaking chickens is right up there with the Doomshine. That is one of the most fantastic things, a gift from Sunlasa.
Hmm.
And just in general, I love your commentary, your infectious laugh. I love the fact that you are an artist despite not having gone to art school, and you produce some very fantastic art. Everything from drawing to streaming to what you provide in the way of personality and interaction and relationship to all of the people around you. You are a wonderful human being. And Doom, if nobody has told you lately, I am fucking glad to have known you, and you are a fucking wonderful person. So thank you so much for being in our lives. And I will charge you accordingly for that bottle of sunshine. It will be billed later this month.
I'll be more than happy to pay it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank
No
you so
problem.
much, everyone. I do truly appreciate you all so very, very, very fucking much. I really do. And I'm very lucky to get to know all of you. And I appreciate you all so, so very much. Just
Yeah.
thank you all so very much.
It's our pleasure, honestly. So you are an integral part of the community, and we are very happy to have you here and know you. So now let's get on to the most important part of the interview. Let's talk about some video games. All right.
Great.
So how long now have you been on Twitch?
uh Wow, I almost, well, in December I'll be 2 years on my personal channel plus the year that I spent on the game room. So I want to say about over almost 3 years come December, I think. So maybe about 4 months, about 2.5 years, I'd say.
Okay. Um, and if you do look at that, like I simply look at it as a little bit of a metric on how much of an impact you have that a person that stumbles onto your stream is going to hit that follow button. So you haven't quite hit 700 followers, but I mean you are quite ahead of several other people in our community in that regard because one, you have been on Twitch longer, it seems, than quite a few other people here. But yes, definitely that ass is a part of it. And I think that you can only grow from there. Yeah, it might like cover and stay for a little bit. The more you put yourself out there, though, like how many people now maybe from the SMP are coming onto your stream or some of their followers, and they're like, oh yeah, Doom's part of this function over here. Let's give him a follow.
Right.
Um, so I personally think you're doing rather splendidly in not only maintenance of your channel but continuing even a slow growth to
Mm.
keep building that base, that followership that will eventually over time continue to make your streams larger, and people will come in to see you basically anytime that you're streaming, regardless of what the game is or regardless of what other content you want to produce. So you are primarily a streamer of games. Do you, before we get into that, is there any other content that you would like to produce in the future? Anything besides gaming that fits your fancy as something you'd like to put on stream?
I would like to do the painting stream. I would love to do some art streams. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think that would be a nice way to actually, like, get back into that aspect of my hobby and merge it with my current hobby. You know,
Yes, I agree.
I do love playing games, but I love the aspect of just being able to just chill and vibe with the chat and just have a good time. Like I said, crowds really, really make me anxious, but streaming is just that whole other medium to kind of get outside of that anxiety and just being around people without being around people, if that makes any sense.
Well, and there's also a degree of separation. Like these people are
Hmm.
not actually in physical proximity to you, so you've got the
Right.
internet to keep them at bay, for lack of a better term. But I mean, just in general, you're not going to be accosted or likely to be accosted. So
But
Um,
yeah, I'd like to do some more of those. I think that would be a lot of fun.
okay. We look forward to it. Everybody, I'm sure, is ready and rearing to go to see some more of that. Um, So on the games, obviously your favorite game is Black Tiger. You were our first guest on the Arcade Nostalgia Memories podcast back in
Hmm.
October,
Hmm.
and the obviously Black Tiger has been a big part of your life. We have discussed previously about how much of an influence it had on your childhood, being able to go into the bowling alley or the bar, and just pop a couple of quarters in there and get a good hour's worth of entertainment out of that game that you were that good at it. You
Hmm.
now have world records on speedrun.com
Hmm.
for a couple of games. That one on Friday the 13th. So definitely, Black Tiger is your favorite game. What other games would be in, let's say, your top 10?
Top 10, definitely like the Fallout franchise. I am a huge fan of the Fallout franchise. Yeah, I will play anything Fallout.
And currently, you're playing a Fallout 76 California mod,
It's actually New Vegas.
New Vegas.
It's because I plan on doing through the complete game of New Vegas, and then I've modded the heck out of it because currently I've already got like almost over 300 hours into playing New Vegas. So for a whole brand new run for me, I went ahead and put the new California mod into it, which has been an amazing playthrough, even though it's kind of glitchy and some of the dialogue's a little questionable. But I also added another mod that's called A World of Pain, which adds another 170 locations within the Mojave. So I'm looking forward to that, plus the DLC, plus a lot of graphical and just performance mods. I'm really looking forward to this playthrough of New Vegas.
Okay. All right. So Fallout, anything Fallout series. What else?
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of the Resident Evil Silent Hill series. I love horror games. I love to play horror games. Getting to play Bendy and the Ink Machine was a fantastic game, and
Yeah.
I've got other games on the back burner for horror games that I can't wait to play. Um, I'm a big fan of dungeon crawlers, so I like Diablo-esque kind of games. Console. Oh, what is it called? Um, Baldur's Gate. BioShock. I'm a big fan of BioShock as well. Love that game series. I'm a big fan of like shooters as long as they're single player shooters because I am no good at multiplayer shooters or co-op shooters. I could definitely do.
So like no Call
I
of
love
Duty.
games. No, I couldn't do like competitive shooters. No way.
Yeah.
um, I love mechs. I love playing Mech Warrior. It's always been a fun game for me to play, especially with my military background. Just like mechs is just future tanks.
I don't think I've ever seen you play that.
No, I've never done it on stream, but I've always done it off stream.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite things is just to go ahead and throw on some heavy metal and drive some big freaking mechs.
What about on the retro side?
Oh, on the retro side, definitely I am crusading against some of the hardest games I never got to beat as a kid, especially on the NES, which I've been having a lot of fun with. Huge shout out to Optimus Prime for being able to conquer Metroid. That's definitely one for me as a kid. So I love the Metroid series because of that. I love a lot of arcade games. Anything from the arcades, I can definitely love to play. I've just been informed by Legion Cage that a new Capcom arcade series is coming out. So there is going to be now a an actual current version of playable version of Black Tiger, which is
Oh wow.
really exciting.
Is that like what's the word I'm looking for? Is that yeah? What's the format going to be for that? Like something you download to your PC?
I think it's on PC, like on Steam and on consoles, and it's
Oh
just
okay.
going to be like a big handful of like Capcom old arcade games. And
Okay.
they're gonna put Black Tiger as one of the titles on
Oh,
there,
so
which
it's actually going
that's
to be like a new emulator created by Capcom. Oh,
mm-hmm.
okay, great. That sounds good.
So
Um,
I'm hoping to inspire some folks out there to get out there and try to challenge either my score or my time.
great. All right. Yeah, we haven't really seen anybody else in the community doing Black Tiger. You're pretty much the only one. But maybe there's a few people you can inspire to pick it up and try their hand at it. I've looked at it. I don't know if we can have that set up to do an emulator on here for one of my streams, but I'm certainly willing
Mhm.
to try. And of course, I'll reach out to you to be in the booth when I do so.
Oh,
I'm
please
not
do.
opposed to it. I'm probably gonna, like die 30,000 times in the first level, but
I have been playing it for decades and I still do.
yeah. Well, that's the thing is that you probably literally have thousands, if not tens of thousands of hours under your belt for that.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. We didn't actually say, well, it was made in 1987. So you've literally been playing it for decades.
yeah.
Yes.
Any other games that you haven't mentioned yet?
um, oh man, I really enjoy games. It just to try to ask for my favorite would be like to ask what my favorite taco is because I just
We just love all tacos, all games.
yeah, there's probably not a lot of games I don't like to play. Uh, or I'm willing to learn how to play. Um, so that's a thing. If somebody comes up to me with a game that they've never really been played before, it's like, well, you're willing to try it. I'm like, heck yeah, I'm willing to try just about anything once.
Right. Uh oh. Cat's getting out of shit.
One sec.
Okay. We're gonna be wrapping up soon here, so if somebody has any suggestions for a raid, go ahead and put them in the chat, and we will see what's available, and start looking at it here. Probably in about 10 minutes, we'll start to wrap up here.
Yes, Melagio, I'm glad to hear that. It does come to Switch.
All right. Um, and we can probably, I mean, I'm sure I'm forgetting a few things, but we could probably classify just about most games into platformer, puzzle, RPG or JRPG, and shooter. So do you have a favorite genre?
um, I can pick out probably about 5 of those and love all of those. Because there's definitely some JRPGs that I enjoy. I love RPGs like Skyrim and Fallout, kind of falls into that. That's why I kind of like Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight has like an RPG element mixed with the horror element, so that's just like a great jam right there. Um
And are there any other MMOs like that really fetch your
uh
fancy?
76 I've been having a lot of fun with, but again, that falls in with Fallout, and then just the location of that Fallout area, that just, yeah, I love that game.
Okay.
Especially being able to play with friends. Playing with friends just makes that even that much better.
So in general, what's a thing that makes any game really pop, really interesting or fun to you specifically?
Oh, if it's a horror game, if it's gonna scare me, I love jump scares when I'm playing a horror game.
Even
Um,
though you were
like
cursing Bendy, when that little cutout popping out from behind the corner.
that was the best jump scare because it was just like this cute little cardboard thing come out and just scared the crap out of me. Yeah, I'm gonna curse
Yeah,
at it for a minute, but that's the adrenaline talking.
yeah. Okay, so for a horror game, it's definitely got to really scare the shit out of you.
Yeah, or like with like Silent Hill was another one where it's just like, you're trying to figure out what the heck is going on. I love games like that. It's so much fun. With Fallout, with those kind of games, the whole just building that kind of character to go through, and I've always played a good character. I don't think I've ever played an evil character playthrough on any of those games.
Okay.
Always
Uh,
has to be a decent
yeah,
character.
we've talked about that before a little bit about the difference between a healer and or like on
Mhm.
BioShock, harvesting the little sisters versus saving
Right.
them.
could never harvest a little sister. That was one of the cool things. Like Laura's hardly ever seen like the end of a game, but she had walked in at the end of that Bioshock, and she's like, "That's the coolest ending to a game I've ever seen."
What about for RPGs? What makes an RPG really pop for you?
If it's like a Fallout game, something like that, like a Bethesda RPG is so much fun. I grew up with the original Final Fantasy, so JRPGs, especially like the old school ones, are always a lot of fun. I had started playing like Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, which the Shin Megami Tensei series was like it's really well loved, but it's a really difficult series.
Mhm.
I just started getting into that, so I'm looking forward to playing something like that. Um, it just reminds me of playing Final Fantasy back in the day, but just prettier graphics.
And then, like I know, Bendy and the Ink Machine really appealed to you because of the art style and design. Are there what other games have appealed to you specifically because of the art?
Oh, Jet Grind Radio would be the first one that'll pop out because I always loved the cell shaded video games that were out there,
Okay.
and Jet Grind Radio was the first one for the Dreamcast that really got me. I love that game because of the art style. Of course, Bendy and the Ink Machine had a beautiful art style to it. It was so amazing. Um, Gosh, I can't think of any right off the top of my head.
That's all right.
Um, but there's definitely a lot like BioShock, especially. That I think that got me. That was one of the most visually stunning games that I can remember seeing. Same thing with Dead Space, like the original Dead Space. When I first saw that game, it was like, wow, that's just beautiful looking, you know.
Right.
Like when
And
you see the whole planet, and it was just awesome.
right. And then platformers. What stands out to you when you're looking at platformers?
Metroidvanias. I have come to
Okay.
find out that I really do enjoy Metroidvanias. So like playing Metroid and Castlevania 2 and there's other ones that are like Infernax, like a new
Yeah,
modern
that's right. Yeah.
mhm. I do enjoy those. So it's kind of like that exploration that I enjoy in Fallout, but just in 2D form. Just kind of going around to see if I can find anything. Yeah.
And are there any older games, retro, that, let's say, in the past 5 years you've come across that you hadn't played before, and you're like, dude, this is really cool. I need to add this to my repertoire.
Oh, yeah, dozens actually. I'm a big fan of a YouTuber. It's called You Can Beat Video Games. And it's literally like this person is just grabbing out those games that I've never heard of, and I'm sitting there watching them. I'm like, this looks so awesome. Um Chrysalis for the NES is one of those games I just think looks awesome. Blaster Master. I was actually picked that up in cartridge because I think that game's awesome. Um
I was just going to
uh
grab that here for anybody in chat that wants to see it. There we go.
Yeah, it's just incredible, and that's where I got a lot of my strats for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original NES Ninja Turtles, not the arcade version. Um, so yeah, there's been a lot of games like that. Bionic Commando, I would love to be able to play on stream sometime and have fun with that. The original Zelda, I would like to finally get through. So yeah, there's a lot of those games, especially. Yeah, Blaster Master, especially. Like I love Blaster Master. I may have to actually have you with me on that one, Melagio. I think that would be so much fun.
All right. So that does it for me. Do you have anything that you'd like to expound to me and or the people that are viewing this? And in the meantime, chat. If you have any questions for Doom, please put them in the chat now, so that we can go ahead and ask them and start to wrap it up.
um, no, just thank you so much for the opportunity. Like I said, it it kind of strange having to talk about myself, but I really do appreciate the opportunities and stuff like that to be able to. So just thank you so much for having me on here.
Well, I appreciate you gracing us with your presence in order for me to produce this content. um,
Games.
yeah,
Oh,
Slate says games you don't like because they make you want to throw office chairs, and yeah,
Anything that has to do with flying in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, any kind of flying mission. I actually took out a PlayStation 2 controller because of those. I remember because Mrs. Doom found one of the freaking buttons. It's like, what's this? It's like, oh, thought I got all those. So I straight up just spiked that controller.
Uh, our good friend Melagio has a burning question. Doom, why would you make a Chuck E. Cheese with ET arcade games only? You,
I'm also nefarious for putting mayonnaise all at the bottom of the ball pit as well. So
yes.
don't come to my Chuck E. Cheese. It's not fun at all. It smells weird, and all there is ET arcade games. So
That's terrible. Which, by the way, if you're into the ET Atari game, I'm going to be playing that on the 26th with Tuba. God willing, we're going to be hooking up the Atari and trying to get that going. And I will be seeing ET for the first time, and just how horrible it apparently is. So
uh,
you could stop by for
I
that.
had that game as a child. That's gonna be fun.
And mayonnaise at the bottom of the ball pits. You fucking dick. Anyway. All right.
It's not mayonnaise.
That's not mayonnaise. So let's head on over to coming attractions here on the EDC channel, so you know what's coming up next, and you can avoid it like the plague. So tomorrow night on the Conflux Discord, we continue our DMCA Nope series with the second part of the Garfield annual television specials. There was 12 of them. They aired from 1982 to 1991. We did the first 4 last week. This coming week, tomorrow, we're doing Garfield in Paradise, Garfield Goes Hollywood, Garfield Christmas Special, and Garfield His 9 Lives. And then I'll pop over to this one here, which is the exact same thing, except we're going to be doing 9 through 12, the last 4, Babes and Bullets, Thanksgiving. I can't even read the text on that one. The third one, and Garfield Gets a Life. That'll be the following week, Tuesday, June 21st. Both of those starting at 7 p.m. in the Conflux. All the things that I do that won't fly on Twitch as part of my DMCA Nope series are exclusive to the Conflux Discord. Including our next thing here, which is a brand new watch party podcast hosted by Short and Sweet and myself that is going to be starting this Thursday, 7 p.m. So if you have not seen any of the newer Star Trek series produced by CBS and Paramount in the last 6 years, and that would include Discovery, Picard, Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks, Prodigy, and the Short Treks. We're going to be doing all of those one by one. It's going to be taking approximately a year, as long as we're doing 1 episode a week with about 2 episodes. And we will just watch those new episodes and do some commentary on that. So stop by, especially if you haven't seen it and you would like to see it. We will be going through all of the new Star Trek that produced in the last several years. And it should be fun, yeah. Especially if you're a Star Trek fan and you don't like any of this new crap that you're trying to call Star Trek. That's not real Trek. So stop by for that. We'd appreciate seeing you. Also, a Conflux exclusive, so make sure you sign up for that. I just mentioned a little bit ago, Sunday, June 26th. Stop by here on Twitch for an Atari purchase unboxing. I put that in quotes because it's already out of the box. But basically, the last time I went down to Columbus with Doom and Tinkerer and Cage and V and my brother and Wonko, I made a purchase that I was not expecting to make. And that was, I spent about $110 on almost a complete Atari set. Console, controllers, carrying case, and about 20 games, including ET. And Tuba Swan is going to be joining me on the 26th as we show that all off and clean it up, and then we will be hooking it up and attempting to test it out and make sure everything works. So hopefully you can stop on by for that. It will be pretty fun. And then finally, mystery content premiere. Mark the date on your calendar. EBC's fifth audio drama should be premiering on Sunday, August 7th. The time is still kind of tentative, but the date is pretty much set in stone. So hope to see you there. Again, I will be announcing that probably within a week and a half or 2 weeks. What the title is, a little bit about the content, and some more information about who is starring in it. So you can mark that on your calendar if you do not want to miss said content. So that just about wraps it up. Thank you, Doom, so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate you. And if you want to check out this beautiful man, all you have to do is go to Angle Doom on the Twitches in the interwebs, and he will entertain the shit out of you because you apparently have so much shit in your ass that you just need to be entertained to the point where it just all falls out. He can do that for you, and for a reasonable price too.
I'm here to help.
and he will definitely be putting all of the mayonnaise at the bottom of the ball pit. So so thank you all for joining us. Did we have I must have missed it in the chat if there was one. Did we have a suggestion for a raid? Anybody? Doom, do you see anybody online that you would like to go visit?
Don't see anyone familiar.
Okay. Let's see here. There was quite a few people streaming earlier.
Oh, Chronal's on. Chronal's on.
Chronal?
Dude, let the hell. Yeah, Chronal is awesome.
I don't know this person, so give me a second here. Raid is not spelled R-I-A-D. Noted.
I tried that. It does not work.
Yeah. How do you spell it? C-H?
C-H-R-O-N-O-L.
Okay. All right, we will go see Chrome then at Doom's suggestion. All right, thank you very much. Thanks again, Doom. Really appreciate you. You can check out Doom on his channel, and he will love you long time for showing up and requesting a bottle of sunshine, and just having fun with him. Yeah, you know, he's a fancy laughing fellow. He'll really brighten your day with his Doomshine. So thank you all for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow on the Conflux for some more Garfield. And don't do anything I wouldn't do because, I don't know. I might do that shit. You never know. It's still a possibility, but if I do that shit, you're definitely going to have to make it worth my while. So, no, never mind. No, I'm not doing that shit. Fuck off. Bye!